Lawrence DeMarco is Executive Manager of the International Council for Men and Boys, and he is here to give us the details on today's landmark declaration.
Today marks an historic moment. 30 years ago, the Beijing Declaration was a milestone for women's rights. It called on the world to recognize and address the disadvantages women face. Now, in 2025, we take another step toward true gender equality for all, which includes both sexes, men and boys as well. When fathers are empowered, wives and children benefit. And when we address the silent struggles that men face, we create a better world for everyone. Today, we launched the New York Declaration for Men and Boys, a commitment to ensuring that our fathers, sons, brothers, and husbands are supported not at the expense of women, but alongside of them. We all know the value of gender equality, but for too long, one side of the equation has been overlooked. Around the world, men and boys face 12 critical areas of disadvantage, including education, health, parenting, and justice. Boys are falling behind in school, more likely to drop out, less likely to graduate, and less likely to continue their education. Men face shorter lifespans, higher suicide rates, and receive far less attention in health research. Fathers are too often sidelined in family law, despite research showing that children do best when they have both parents actively involved in their lives. Families are strongest when both parents, both sexes, are supported. The New York Declaration for Men and Boys is built on a simple principle. Gender equality should mean equality for all. In the wording of the document, we identify the common problems facing men and boys and propose solutions. The document is divided into 9 sections, which I'll now set forth individually. Number 1, physical health and well-being. We all want our loved ones to live long and healthy lives, but men's health is being neglected on a global scale. Men live on average 5 years less than women. This gap exists in nearly every country. Suicide rates among men are 3 times higher than among women. Despite these glaring statistics, most countries don't have dedicated offices of men's health. Women's health has received substantial focus, which is a great achievement, but we must extend that same care to men. This is why the New York Declaration calls for men to be equitably represented in health research. Too often, medical studies have been conducted without considering men's unique health risks, and the establishment of offices of men's health in governments worldwide. If women's health deserves specialized attention, so does men's health. Number 2, mental health and suicide prevention. We might suggest it's okay to not be okay, but for too many men, help is out of reach. Societal expectations tell men to be strong, push through, and never ask for help, but this silence is costing lives. Young men today face higher rates of addiction, depression, and deaths of despair. Yet most mental health outreach doesn't speak to men in ways that resonate with them. The Declaration calls for the following: promoting models of masculinity that embrace emotional well-being. Being strong shouldn't mean suffering in silence. Expanding male-focused mental health initiatives. We need resources and campaigns designated for men, by men, to reach those who need help the most. National suicide prevention efforts that address male suicide directly, because talking about mental health isn't enough. We need policies and programs that save lives. Number 3, education and lifelong learning. We celebrate the progress made in girls' education worldwide, but in the process, we've overlooked a growing crisis among boys. Boys are now less likely than girls to finish school in over 100 countries. Boys are dropping out at higher rates, struggling with literacy, and disengaging from learning. In many universities, men are now the minority, yet policies designed to support underrepresented groups often exclude them. The Declaration calls for the following: interventions to improve boys' literacy and engagement. If boys are struggling with reading and learning, we must act early. More male teachers and mentors. When boys see men in leadership roles, they're more likely to stay engaged in school. Fair and equal access to scholarships. No student should be denied an opportunity because of their gender. We fought to open doors for girls. Now, let's make sure we're not closing them for boys. Number 4, family and shared parenting. Fathers matter, not just as financial providers, but as caregivers, role models, and essential figures in their children's lives. Yet too often, our legal system pushes fathers out of their children's lives. Family courts assume mothers should have primary custody even when fathers are fit and willing to parent. Parental alienation is a real issue where children are manipulated into rejecting a parent, most often their father. Child support laws can turn fatherhood into a financial obligation rather than a meaningful relationship. The Declaration calls for the following: equal shared parenting laws. When both parents are capable, children should have equal access to both. Removing financial incentives that increase parental conflict. The goal should always be the best interest of the child, not legal battles over money. Recognizing parental alienation as a serious form of child abuse, because no child should be used as a weapon against a loving parent. Stronger families mean stronger societies. When we support fathers, we support families as a whole. Number 5, justice and equality before the law. Justice should be blind. Right now, it's not equal. Men receive harsher prison sentences than women for the same crimes. False allegations ruin innocent lives. In many cases, there's no consequences for making them. Due process is being eroded in cases of domestic and sexual violence, where the accused can be punished without solid evidence. The Declaration calls for the following: upholding due process and presumption of innocence. Justice must be based on fact, not assumption. Ensuring impartial investigations. Every person, man or woman, deserves a fair trial. Addressing sentencing disparities. If men and women commit the same crime, they should face the same consequences. The integrity of our justice system depends upon fairness for all. Number 6, workplace safety and economic opportunity. Every year, thousands of men don't return home from work due to death on the job. Men make up nearly all workplace fatalities. High-risk jobs in construction, transportation, and manufacturing remain male-dominated, but safety regulations often don't focus on men's well-being. At the same time, men face stigma when they enter caregiving roles, such as teaching or nursing. The Declaration commits to the following: stronger workplace safety policies. No job should be a death sentence. Promoting men's access to caregiving careers. A truly equal society encourages men to work in all fields, not just dangerous ones. Number 7, paternal justice and reproductive rights. In every discussion of reproductive rights, one voice is missing: the father's. Men have no say in decisions about embryos they helped create. Paternity fraud is real, yet the law often forces men to pay child support even when they're not the biological father. The Declaration calls for fair policies on frozen embryos. If both parents created life, both should have a say in what happens to it. Reforming child support laws. A man shouldn't be forced to support a child that's not his own. Number 8, addressing violence against men and boys. The conversation around violence must include male victims. Men are 78% of homicide victims. Male victims of domestic violence are often ignored. Boys are at a higher risk of child labor, war recruitment, and expectation. The Declaration calls for services for male victims of domestic abuse. No survivor should be turned away based upon gender. Recognition of male victimization in global policies. If we ignore these issues, we fail to protect half of society. Number 9, a fair representation of men and boys in the media. The common saying, toxic masculinity, is offensive and hurtful. The common narrative that most men are abusers, deadbeats, selfish, disposable, and less valuable than women sends a message to boys that they're worthless and their lives are meaningless, resulting in a boy crisis. As Warren Farrell tells us, boys who hurt us. The Declaration calls for a renewed message that men are protectors, builders, and fathers who are the backbone of society. Men doubling over in pain from a shot to the groin is no funnier than a woman suffering in pain. The New York Declaration for men and boys is for families, is for fairness, opportunities, and dignity for all. When fathers are present, children do better. When men succeed, families prosper. 30 years ago, the Beijing Declaration championed women's rights. Today, we add to that legacy, not by progress, but by ensuring that gender equality is truly equality for all. Let's move forward together, men and women, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, toward a future where no one is left behind. Thank you.